Ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Robin Williams was found. I'm sorry. This is the second video like this I've made this year, and I don't want to have to make a third. When John Panette died, the sorrow I felt was extremely profound. Simply because of the way he died, he lay on the floor of his hotel room alone, gasping for air because his heart decided to betray him. But Robin put a belt around his neck and the profound sorrow that I felt when I heard the news. I was in South Carolina on a job hunt. I had just arrived, all as happy as could be, and as soon as I walked in the door, someone said, "Oh, did you hear Robin Williams has killed himself?" And at first I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. But when I looked it up and I found out that it was true, just the deep and penetrating sorrow that went through me. There are no words to describe what I felt. The king is dead. Long live the king. There is no one to replace the king is dead. Those are the only words I can think of to describe the death of Robin Williams. And allow me to make an analogy that a lot of people might find offensive, but you know what? If the Pope, the current Pope, Pope Francis, was to die tomorrow, the outpouring of sorrow from around the world, I do not think would match the outpouring of the mourning, the state of mourning that we are in now for Robin Williams. And I say that honestly because he touched just so many people with his comedic energy and with that. He never made a bad movie. If you look at every single movie he ever made, he put himself from the large roles of him and the Fisher King and Dead Poet Society, even to the tiniest roles. People hate the movie Robots because they say it's so formulaic, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Williams, as formulaic as they say his performance is, he steals the whole movie. He is the reason to watch that movie. Mel Brooks is in that movie. Okay, the legendary, the unsurpassed Mel Brooks, the only other person who, and I pray to God it doesn't happen, but if he dies this year, I think I'd have to quit the internet. I don't think I'd be able to do this anymore. But despite the fact that Brooks is in the movie, it's Robin who is the most entertaining, the most genuine in his performance. Even his smallest role, and I can guarantee you, this is the smallest role he ever played. The smallest role he ever played in a movie was as the King of the Moon in a Terry Gilliam flop called The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. It's one of my favorite movies. It's number 3 on my list of favorites. If you ask me what's your favorite adventure fantasy, it would not be The Lord of the Rings. No. It's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And Robin Williams plays the King of the Moon. It's practically a bit part. But just the range of emotion that he plays in that one or two scenes that he's there is just so grand that he overfills the roles. He is over the top in the best way possible. I want to show you guys something. If you take Robin Williams' name and you anagram it, you get I warm billions, which is exactly what he did. You could not have a more prophetic man. Now, the first time I encountered his comedy was as a very little kid, as many people did. And I'll let you guess. Master, I don't think you quite realize what you got here. So why don't you just ruminate whilst I illuminate the possibility? Well, if Baba had his 40 thieves' shears, I'd had 1,000 tails. Master, you're in luck, 'cause up your sleeves you got a brand of magic never fails. You got some power in your corner now, some heavy ammunition in your can. Got some pump, pizzazz, what can do it, how all you gotta do is rub that line, and I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, jot it down, you ain't never had a friend like me. Life is your restaurant, and I'm your maitre d'. Come on, whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Yes, sir, we pride ourselves on service. You're the boss, the king, the shah. Oh, what you wish, it's yours. Shoot it. How about a little more baklava? Have some of column A, try all of column B. I'm in the mood to help you, dude. You ain't never had a friend like me. And this is the third memory I get, and that's not from watching it and memorizing it. No, that's from when I was about 3 or 4, and it's the third memory. I'll tell you this. I'll share this with you. The first memory I have is of my sister sitting on my toy train tracks and me trying to push her off before the train ran into her and fell off the tracks. My second memory, I don't remember. I've forgotten it. But I know this is my third memory. It's of the genie coming out of the lamp. And just the animation of him becoming so big and large and yelling, ah! And I remember as a little kid, the thrill of fear, as a 4-year-old, the thrill of fear that you feel going through you as this big thing pops up on screen because you can't tell the difference. And then Mr. Williams going out, 10,000 years will give you such a crack in the neck. The jump from fear to delight. I saw him probably in the most brilliant of roles that, and that was my exposure to him. My exposure to him was at his finest. And just his energy and his ability to talk and dance and yell and scream and crack off jokes so quickly. As a child, that imprinted on me, and it even influences me up to this day. Now you're probably wondering, 89 Technical, how does something you saw as a 4-year-old possibly have anything to do with the YouTube videos you make? Well, especially on a petty subject like the Legend of Korra. Well, I'll tell you. You know how season 2 they say 10,000 years of darkness? Well, you'll notice in my videos, whenever I rant about it, I don't say 10,000 years of darkness. I say 10,000 years of darkness. That is Robin Williams. He is the man who imprinted that on me. That is how far-reaching his influence was. He was that good that something he did over 24 years ago has made it into an almost unwatched web series as just the way that someone speaks. Okay? I can't say 10,000 years. I have to say it 10,000 years. I'm imitating Robin Williams from before I can even remember watching other things. That is his influence. That is who he was. And the fact that he's been taken from us in the way he was is absolutely horrible. Just horrible. The man was a comic genius. The man was beloved by hundreds, if not hundreds of millions, if not billions of people. And even in death, he is helping us. Because with his suicide, Now, a lot of people are saying, don't call it suicide. Don't, no, it's suicide. We have a word for it. It's suicide. Get over it. With his suicide, because of his complete and utter despair, if only he knew how much we loved him. He wasn't just a comedian. He was a cultural phenomenon. He will influence Western civilization for the next 1,000 years. That is how influential Robin Williams is. From the biggest things to the smallest ones. He is the man who essentially made improv what it is. He is the man who surprised and delighted us in our childhoods. He is the man. He just is the man. He is the king, and the king is dead. And there is no one to take his place. We are leaderless now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rant like this, but I loved him so much. I rushed back here as quickly as I could. Just so that I could make my feelings known and outpour my sympathy. He wasn't just a comedian and an actor. He wasn't just that. He was a gamer. His daughter Zelda. Now, the name Zelda, no, it's not. His daughter's not named after a Jewish hooker that Carl Reiner knew in 1963. No. His daughter Zelda is named after Princess Zelda from the Legend of Zelda series, because apparently he was playing it and he said, Zelda, you know what, that's actually a very good name for a girl, and he gave it to her. He is one of us. He is a gamer. He was one of us. And his despair, David Wong did an article on this in crack.com about why comedians do this kind of stuff. It's because, as a child, comedians don't get the attention that they want, or they're afraid of who they are. So when they find out that, hey, people like you when you laugh, they make that comedic, they turn that comedy into their personality. They basically make it their outer shell. People are like, oh, we love the clown, but that's a double-edged sword, because yeah, we love the clown, but then it's like, well, do you love the person on the inside? And a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, his depression was severe, and if you look at his comedy here, here, and here, don't do that. I do not want you to do that. Don't read the despair that he had at the end of his life into his previous work. Because if you do, then it will stand there as a constant reminder of what we lost and what we failed to prevent. No. When you watch his work, look at it with the same surprise and the same delight and the same heartfelt love that you had the first time you watched it. And you will have done him the greatest service you possibly ever could do a man. Mr. Williams, I speak to you now as your fan, as your follower, as one of your disciples. We loved you. We still love you. We will always love you. And it is my heartfelt sorrow that we could not prevent this from happening, that we could not express our love to you the way that we should have. And that maybe if we had, you would still be here with us, and that we do not know what we had lost until you had finally decided, it's enough, I'm gone. And that is my profound sorrow. The king is dead. Long live the king.